Nicolás Maduro, Venezuela's president, inherited a nation in crisis after Hugo Chávez's death. Once a bus driver and union leader, Maduro rose through the ranks of Chávez's Socialist Party, eventually becoming his chosen successor. Venezuela is a country rich in oil, but racked by political and economic turmoil. Despite its vast natural resources, the nation's wealth failed to reach most citizens, fueling unrest and instability. Under Maduro's rule, Venezuela plunged into a deep humanitarian disaster with millions struggling to survive. Hyperinflation, food and medicine shortages, and mass emigration became daily realities for Venezuelans, forcing families to flee the country in search of a better life. The US and many Western nations refused to recognize Maduro's presidency, citing his 2018 re-election as fraudulent, and instead backed opposition leaders like Juan Guaidó, deepening the political crisis. In 2020, the US indicted Maduro for narco-terrorism and corruption, offering a $50 million reward for his capture, a move that shocked the international community. This indictment turned a diplomatic standoff into a global manhunt, with law enforcement agencies around the world on alert. As sanctions and international pressure mounted, Maduro, backed by powerful allies like Russia, China, and Cuba, tightened his grip on power, refusing to step down. He rejected offers of exile and denied U.S. access to Venezuela's oil, further isolating his regime from the West. With failed negotiations, mounting crises, and tensions at an all-time high, the stage was set for one of the most daring and controversial U.S. military operations in recent history. Operation Absolute Resolve, the audacious mission to capture Nicolás Maduro, began to take shape after months of meticulous CIA intelligence gathering deep inside Venezuela. Teams of analysts pored over satellite images and intercepted communications, piecing together a detailed picture of the regime's inner workings and security protocols. A high-level informant, risking everything, revealed Maduro's daily routines and critical vulnerabilities. Meanwhile, U.S. Army Delta Force commandos, trained relentlessly, on a full-scale replica of his fortified compound, rehearsing every possible scenario. Elite soldiers and planners worked around the clock, refining the operation's every detail. The plan called for overwhelming force, more than 150 aircraft, including stealth drones, bombers, and the legendary Night Stalker's helicopters, all coordinated to ensure total air superiority and the element of surprise. President Trump personally gave the final go-ahead on January 2, 2026, monitoring the unfolding events from a secure room at Mar-a-Lago, surrounded by top advisors and military officials. At exactly 10:46 p.m., the operation launched, not with bombs, but with a sophisticated cyber attack that plunged Caracas into total darkness, disabling communications and power grids across the city. The blackout masked the approach of U.S. aircraft, sowing chaos and confusion among Venezuelan forces and civilians alike, clearing the way for the assault teams to move in undetected. Every detail of Operation Absolute Resolve was engineered for speed, precision, and overwhelming force, leaving nothing to chance as the mission entered its most critical phase. As Caracas went dark, U.S. warplanes and drones struck Venezuelan air defenses, blinding the military and clearing a path for the main assault. At 2:01 a.m., Delta Force commandos fast-roped into Maduro's compound at Fuerte Tiuna, meeting fierce but brief resistance from his security and Cuban guards. Superior U.S. firepower and night vision tech quickly overwhelmed defenders. Guided by CIA intelligence, the commandos moved straight to Maduro's quarters. They intercepted Maduro and his wife, Celia Flores, as they tried to flee to a panic room. Realizing escape was impossible, the couple surrendered within minutes. Maduro and Flores were zip-tied and taken into custody. The primary objective, capturing Maduro alive, was achieved in under 5 minutes. With Maduro and Flores secured, Delta Force extracted them by helicopter, taking some ground fire but suffering no fatalities. The raid left dozens of Maduro's defenders dead, including Cuban personnel. The captives were flown to the USS Iwo Jima, then to Guantanamo Bay, and finally to a military airport near New York. Upon arrival, they were handed to federal authorities to face U.S. charges. The Trump administration framed the operation as a law enforcement action, not an act of war. Maduro was jailed in Brooklyn, awaiting trial, a sitting head of state in U.S. custody. an unprecedented moment. Trump announced the U.S. would oversee Venezuela's transition and oil industry, revealing broader ambitions for the country's future. Caracas was left shaken but not destroyed. The psychological shock was immense. Venezuela's Supreme Court named Vice President Delcy Rodriguez interim president, condemning the U.S. raid and demanding Maduro's release. The military declared a state of emergency, deploying troops to maintain order and prevent chaos. Protests erupted, some celebrating, others demanding Maduro's freedom. Opposition leaders seized the moment, calling for political prisoners' release and new elections. Venezuela stood at a crossroads, a pro-Maduro interim government, an emboldened opposition, and the U.S. asserting control over the nation's future. The raid split the world. Russia, China, Iran and Cuba condemned it as a blatant violation of national sovereignty, denouncing what they called an act of aggression and interference in Venezuela's internal affairs. Their diplomats demanded accountability at the United Nations, warning that such actions could destabilize the region and set a troubling international precedent. Meanwhile, U.S. allies offered only cautious approval, with European leaders and G7 partners expressing support for the stated goals, but urging restraint and respect for international law. Latin American leaders, including Colombia's president, strongly decried the operation, warning it could reignite painful memories of past interventions. Many in the region feared a return to U.S. interventionism, recalling decades of foreign involvement that had left deep scars. The European Union and Pope Leo XIII both called for restraint, dialogue, and respect for Venezuela's independence, urging all sides to avoid escalation. In the U.S., public opinion was sharply divided. Only a third supported the raid, while many questioned its necessity and potential consequences. Most Americans feared another costly foreign entanglement, with protests erupting in several cities and headlines warning of new conflicts abroad. The operation, launched without congressional approval, drew bipartisan criticism over its legality and accusations of executive overreach. Supporters, however, hailed it as a bold and necessary move to bring a notorious narco-terrorist to justice and protect American lives. Critics warned it set a dangerous precedent, undermining international norms and risking future abuses of power. The debate over the raid's legitimacy and its far-reaching consequences would echo long after the dust settled in Caracas, shaping global politics for years to come.